Hello guys, this is Money Games, and on today's videos I'm gonna present you a new episode, show you a bug. Yeah, sorry to say, but rightful judgment is actually bug. Yes, it's bug. It's not work properly. So this portion of the skill that do damage is working, and this is happening, and the skill is doing damage as requested. Here it's 395, you have it full, and it's doing the bonus damage. But the important thing is most of the people use the skill because of the debuff, and the debuff, it's bug, and it's bug in a very very bad way, and I'm gonna show you what is the bug and prove you that we have a bug. So this skill is not working in the way it should be. So let me present you how I could isolate the skill, isolate the debuff on the enemy, and could present you exactly how this is not working. So let me show you what I did. So as you see here, I asked my friend here to quit Alliance, right? To take his heroes outside. We are in the middle of the GE, so it's painful to do this, right? Because we are having GE, so it's very bad to do. So I stopped my GE, I stopped the competition here to do this test. So please, uh, if you support my channel, drop a like, subscribe the channel, and you can see on the description link to my Discord channel and to support me, my coffee link. So feel free to use both, and let me show you what I did to make the test. But before, let me tell you, yes, my friend here has way less power than me. I am around 200 mil. He's only 75 mil, so it's a lot of difference. So I need to make a setup so we could make a proper test. So what was the test? The test was this, right? So what I did, and what is bug is the skill. It's not rightful judgment on Scipio, but is in whatever hero. I test these with Tribuana, it's bug, with Scipio, it's bug, and of course, with Derek, it's also bug. I decide to make the test with Derek because we can isolate everything. Because what's happening here is the way I set my Derek, he has nothing except Wrathful Judgment. Um, and the other skill is a gathering skill, so it's not working. Of course, you have these, that it's a signature skill that will deal some damage to the enemy, and also we're gonna increase the amount of damage the enemy take, and it's gonna increase your damage deal. But these things will not affect our test because it's not here when you're gonna look, because we are debuffing the enemy, and when you debuff the enemy, what we expect is that the enemy do less damage on us, and this is the effect that we need to see. If the damage is reducing when we are using Wrathful Judgment against the enemy, and this is what I'm going to show to you that it's not doing properly. So here is the hero here, and as you can see, the hero has absolutely nothing, still gathering skill on the other side. So, and this is the only signature skill that it has, is a passive one that do buffs to me when the commander use command skills. It need to the commander use a command skill. So it is not gonna happen because I disable the command skill, I turn it off, so there is no command skill and there is no other skills to be casted here. So, and I put this hero as a commander, so there is no command skill. And here, the signature skills is just a heal. So also the second one will not do any damage except normal damage. So when you see the report, what you see here is it's only normal damage and the healings, nothing else. So there is nothing except normal damage happening, and it's only this. And this is what I want to show you how it goes. And also here, as you see, there is no skill at all coming from this side. It's only Wrathful Judgment, and also the signature skills time to time, but this does not affect the test. And we're gonna focus here on Wrathful Judgment, and the other side only doing normal attacks and only this healing. So let me show you now a video recording and show you exactly the bug. So here we go. This is the fight that I recorded. So I'm sorry if some details here and there are not in the best quality, because I'm recording a recorder, but it's the way that I can present you and show. And as you can see, what's happening here is I remove all the talents so the damage can be flat. And as you see, the normal damage that Derek takes is always the same, except uh, as long the my enemy here is losing troops. So it's 188 and now it's 187 because the enemy is losing troops. 186, 186, 186, 185, 185 because the enemy is losing troops, so the damage go decreasing. And now finally we have here Rightful Judgment being prepared. So in 3 seconds the skill is going to be cast, and the damage, as you see, is still 185, and now 184, 185, 185 because there was healing on the other side. And now Rightful Judgments was cast here. So now what we expect to, from these 185, now the damage gonna lose might, and it's a lot of might. So this normal damage, that is a might damage, it should be reduced. And yes, it's exactly what's happening. And you can see for 3 seconds it is reduced to 169. And you can see 1 time, 2 times, 3 times 169, and now it's fade. And when it's fade is the problem. You see a need another Rightful Judgment is about to be prepared, and it's 169, it's fade, and now is the problem. You see, instead of back to 185, it buffed the enemy. So instead of remove the debuff from the enemy, it's remove the debuff from the enemy and it gives the enemy a buff of might. And now the damage is higher. It's 197. And let me show you, before was this 185, right? And now it's 197, 196, 196. And now Rightful Judgment, it's going to be applied. And now on every Rightful Judgment that's going to be applied, it's going to go back to the original value before the Rightful Judgment buff my enemy. So there is no debuff now. Rightful Judgment that's going to apply here, it's going to go back the damage of the enemy to around 184, 185, 180. Now it's less because the enemy is taking damage. So it's go to 180. As you see here, it's 180 because now the enemy has less troops than before. We are at 27 seconds. I'm going to back a little bit. Here, you see when was 185, the enemy has 88 troops, 89 troops, 89k. With 89k, what this number? After now, it's 197. And when the second join, the enemy, it's not 88 anymore. It's only 83. And now it's 180. But now it's applied the second Rightful Judgment. And when it fades from 180, it's go back to 190 something here. And now you have an enemy buffed, doing more damage to you than from the beginning of the fight. So now on, it has a buff, a perma buff, that when right judgments it's apply, like now 193, and now it's go back to about 180, and now it's get a debuff, but it's a debuff from a buff that you apply to the enemy. Bro, it's this is insane. Right judgment, it's completely bugged. So what's happening is you are talking to a skill that has 25% chance to be casted, right? It is a charge skill. So it's a very, very, very bad effect because you don't have a very good frequency on cast here. So it's just 20%. So it's 1 in 5 that you're gonna have this skill being happen. And so for 4 cycles, what you're gonna have is the enemy is gonna be buffed now. And just for 1 cycle out of 5, you have 1 cycle to the enemy be in the normal damage before. You see, like 173 now. But this is after a buff. So now it's go down, and after 3 seconds, it's go back to be in a buff state. So now we are here. By the end of the fight, the enemy is doing 185 to me, but the enemy has only 76 troops. That on the beginning, he was doing the same 185 here, 188, 185, but he had 89 troops. And by the end of the video, with 76, that's the damage that he's doing. Because you end buffing the enemy with your rightful judgment. So it's a sure, the skill is bugged. What is happening is uh, the skill is supposed to apply. Let me show you. Give me just a second. So here we are in the skill, right? And as you see, what it says that it's reduce all enemy, all. You see here, it says that it's all enemy heroes, might and strategy. So what I think it's happening is the game, it's not reducing to all enemy, but just reducing one. And when the debuff is removed, it's getting back to the enemy to all heroes, the might and the strategy. And now you have a hero with buffs in the other side instead of the buff. And this is causing the enemy doing more damage to you and not less damage. So the effect here is exactly the opposite that you expect. It gives to the enemy a buff and not a debuff. So that is why I'm not. And then that's why, for me, what I'm here on my mere model lineup, what I'm using is Bloodthirst. Because, in my opinion, King's Blade is not that great. Rightful Judgment, it's bug. It's buffy the enemy instead of the buff the enemy. Oh my god. These tabs, oh my god. And then we last us with Bloodthirst that at least gonna give us healing and a big chunk of damage because it's a big skill damage. Sorry, big, it's not the case. It's just 300, but it's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. It's better to give a little bunch of damage to the enemy, but not buff them. And if you are play 1v many, you can end up buff many heroes in 1v many. What could be even worse scenario. So I don't advise you to use Rightful Judgment because Rightful Judgment is a 25% chance skill. 25 here percent chance skill, but it's charging state. So you have 1 in 4 turns, but because you have a charge state, it's 1 in 4 plus 1. So it's 1 in 5 because you need 1 turn just to charge. So it's 1 in 5. So this 20% gonna be This 25 gonna be 20%. So you're gonna end up with your enemy buffed for 4 turns and at normal damage for 1 turn, except by the first time that Wrathful Judgment it's been applied, that it's actually gonna debuff the enemy, but after that it's not. You're gonna have the enemy being buffed. So that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Again, I ask you to support the channel. If you can, please drop a like, subscribe the channel, join our Discord community. You can discuss a lot of things about the game there. And also, if you want to support me, the coffee link it's on description. Thank you very much, and we see in the next one. Bye bye.